Of course, nobody is talking about anything other than, well, let's look at the headlines.
These. You know what's funny about this? And Kath, you've known Bruce and Chris forever.
Yes.
You know what's so funny? This is just how removed I am from the whole thing. So yesterday I was about to do my radio show. It was 1:30 in the afternoon. And my producer comes up over at Sirius and she goes, I guess you're going to want to lead with this. And she plops down this picture. And I go, I don't know her. And I go, no, I don't think so. Because sometimes I thought, well, maybe it's from some weird show I've never seen. I go, no, thanks. And she goes, no, look closely. I think you want to lead with it. And I looked, I go, I don't know. Call me Caitlyn. Like, who's Caitlyn? And she said, look again. And I looked again. All of a sudden, boom, like all of a sudden you see his features pop up. But it just shows how different that image is from the one, I mean, you've known forever.
Yeah, I think the Daily News actually expresses it. There is a sense of by Bruce.
Yeah.
Because he was so much a part of the he was an iconic figure.
Yeah.
And he represented, who goes on a Wheaties box.
Yeah.
And I loved Bruce, and I still love Bruce. And I'm going to learn to love Caitlyn because I've only spoken to her, but I have not been in a room with her. And so when I was talking to her on the phone, maybe a month ago, right before the Diane Sawyer thing, it still sounded like my friend Bruce, even though what we were talking about was about the transitioning. So, I'm glad that she is being treated as lovingly in the public with this, because it does take a lot of courage to do what she's doing. But it also is a very difficult process for the family. Yeah. You just have to put yourself in their shoes, and you can celebrate one person's triumph, and also be aware that it's something that other people are dealing with very uniquely and differently and privately in their own ways.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping that grace will be our guiding force with this, because and that people will continue to be kind.
And you were talking about like the essence of a person. I think that's an interesting thought.
I don't believe that God makes mistakes. That's my personal opinion. I do believe that God creates. He loves what and who he creates. If you believe that God is love, then God loves. He cannot hate.
Right.
Okay. They say, is there anything God can't do? Yeah, he can't hate. He can. He loves. That is his essence. So I was talking to Caitlyn, and I knew he told me her new name at the time, but you have to get used to the pronouns.
I'm confused.
But I basically said, you know what God created in you is the essence of you. The being that you are, whether you call yourself a man or a woman, whether you transition, whether you have your genitalia changed, this body that we're all in is temporal. This is, and our soul, I think, is what is eternal. So that being that God created was not a mistake. Yeah. And God loves that person, however she sees herself.
And I think that's spot on, Kath. And the transition, I think you wondered how the transition was going to be. And this Vanity Fair article is very, very revealing. It talks about
22 pages long, and it's really thorough.
It talks about how Caitlyn underwent a 10-hour facial feminization surgery.
It's supposed to be 5, and it ended up being 10.
And after it was over, she had a panic attack. Like
the next day.
Yeah, she got up and thought, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? Yeah. She walked around the house. She was trying to, catch her breath. And it was that feeling of you've already done it.
And there's no turning back.
And there's no turning back. But she had a counselor who came in and said, look, this is what happens. It's normal. Take a breath. And she said, since that moment, she hasn't looked back. So it was a one-off kind of panic thing.
The good news about all of this is that it has really sparked a discussion of it.
Yeah.
And I think it will help many people who have gender issues. They're not going to feel alone, because it breaks your heart reading the article about it. And again, when I've known him since 1982, Frank's known him since 1976. We went all around the world together on different family trips and things. And I think everybody has heard that we're godparents to their 2 children, Kendall and Kylie, and so there's a familiarity, there's an intimacy there. I never saw breasts on him ever. And he's went swimming all the time and diving off boats and all those water skiing and all those things. Yeah, but I never saw that. So it's not a he said, she said thing. It's a let's deal with what is now.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And again, try to deal it with grace. Deal with it with grace.
Yeah, when you look at the video, the Annie Leibovitz photo shoot is is one of those things. I guess Annie Leibovitz afterwards said she cried after the end of it because it was such an emotional time. It must have been, wow. And I think his tweet was something like, now he can breathe easy, or she can.
Yeah.
You know, she said that she understands that people have issues with pronouns and not to get so freaked out about it, because obviously. And I have to tell you, I was scrolling through Twitter when he had 1.9 million an hour ago. I'm sure it's up to beyond 2 now. But you know, when you're scrolling and just looking to see what's the tone, usually on Twitter, where you can be invisible and you can say whatever horrible thing you want
anonymously, right?
Yeah, I was looking. I was like, oh my gosh, there's like, it seemed, and I didn't see any. I mean, I'm sure there were some ones that were unkind, but to think that you could have, you know, almost 2 million followers and millions of
Just like
tweets, and people are being supportive.
The one thing that everybody no one's talking about is that this is a huge moment for her, but it doesn't mean that her life is going to be problem-free now.
Yes.
I think sometimes we think, if I could just get that, if I could just do that, then my life's going to be perfect. There is no such thing as a perfect life.
Right, we still have our problems.
And she's going to go through life, and I think it was interesting in the article, it talks about 20-some% of people who transition do not change their gender, do not have that
genitalia,
their genitalia changed.
Right.
So now there'll be sexual questions that she will face, and you know what? I love the family. I disagree with a lot of the decisions they've made through the years, but friends love you through thick and thin, or else they're not a friend, and they find a different word to use.
And you also learn about his other children in the article more than you don't really hear from Kendall, Kylie, or any of the Kardashian girls. You hear from his
first
other,
children,
which
whom I don't know very well.
Yeah.
I don't at all. So I think I've met Brody one time. I don't know them. So
and he's honest about how he was as a father. He wasn't present with his other kids. He missed graduations and birthdays and all kinds of things. And you could I think one of his daughters said something like, changing your gender doesn't, you know, just because you were struggling with that doesn't explain your issues with not being present.
Right, and being a good parent.
As a good parent, right.
Yeah. But Caitlyn is very honest about the fact that she knows that as Bruce, she made lots of bad decisions, and that hurt a lot of people.
Yeah.
Anyway, hurt a lot of people.
If you want to read the whole article, but we pretty much told you most of it, so don't worry about it. June 11th.
You're not going to be able to get it. I bet you can't even get it on
I think it's going to eclipse the Demi Moore cover with the pregnant. Don't you think?
Does that have the?
I think that has the record.
Oh.
I'm not sure, but I think it does.
You think?
I think it does.
Not a Princess Diana? Oh, anyway.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.